All right, so this video is for the person who's at home and is not working, family members bug me about getting an income, yada yada. I'm gonna tell you how I got a job the next day after wanting to get a job. Basically, I've been thinking about it, it was getting to me. So just a little quick story on my personal experience. You can see if it relates to you, and then if it does, and if the title of this video attracted you, just listen. I'm gonna give you basically a plan to get a job tomorrow, and it's very simple. As long as you live somewhere as long as you don't live in the middle of nowhere and there's not another house or building within like 80 miles of you or something crazy like that. In that case, just work on your cabin or something. I don't know. Okay, so in 2020, I was an athletic trainer and I got temporarily laid off. So I decided to get another job at a hotel. I traveled a little bit, and then I decided to do my own thing. I decided to live my passion and started building an online business with my friend. My heart wasn't in the business about a year or a little over a year ago, so I got out of it and I decided to regroup as I changed directions on my passion and what I actually wanted to do with my life. And I had this idea. I was like, okay, I need to get a job like now, like tomorrow. So I got a little angry and I just was like, I'm gonna get a job. And I drove down a street. It wasn't even in a busy city, it was in a small city. I drove down a street and I'm like, okay, the first opportunity that I see, I'm gonna go apply for a job. So I drive by this restaurant and the restaurant's closed. So I can't go in. There's like a help wanted sign. So I keep driving and I see McDonald's hiring $15 an hour, whatever. I'm not above McDonald's. So here's my first tip. I just wrote this out. I'm not like an authority figure on getting a job, but this is just, I don't know, people, like learning about people doing the things is something I'm passionate about. So I'm making a video about it. So, my first tip is to put away your ego, what your friends, family think, because this relates to the McDonald's thing, because I didn't really want to see myself as above McDonald's. I think if you have a job, that's better than not having a job. So I didn't get a job at McDonald's, but I looked at it as a possibility. So I went into McDonald's. They wanted me to apply online. I didn't do that. The next day, I actually, so I guess this isn't really a video on how to get a job tomorrow. It's how to get a job in 2 days. I went back to that restaurant. I walked in and I said, what are you looking for? And I created my resume. I dusted off my old resume. I gave it to them and they hired me like immediately. And I'm kind of thinking as I make this video, is it really that simple for everyone? I think it is, because I think if you want a job, you can get a job. So what are some reasons that somebody would not want a job? Just look at my notes here. A lot of people say no jobs are available. What people mean when they say no jobs are available is none of the jobs that I want are available and they don't pay enough. But if you don't want a certain job, but you're not even viewing it as a possibility, like me, I did not want to work at McDonald's, but I viewed it as a possibility. I think that opens your mind a bit. Like I said, having a job is better than not having a job. Worst case scenario, you stop doing that job or you leave like a week later because you don't like it or they don't want you anymore. You fail. Jobs like that are hard to fail at, but you might fit, like whatever. Worst case scenario, you're just back to square one. You don't have a job, right? So you've got nothing to lose. There are jobs available. When I drove down the street, it actually was pretty mind-opening that I saw like 3 places that were hiring. McDonald's was one, the restaurant was one, and then I saw another one that I didn't even end up applying to because I got that job at the restaurant. So let me talk about pay, because another objection that people give for not wanting to get a certain job is it doesn't pay enough. Minimum wage is not high enough. People complain all the time that minimum wage isn't high enough. But if you do the math, you can work less than 40 hours a week. You can work a part-time job. You can work 35 hours, and minimum wage where I'm at is $10.50. So $10.50 times 35 hours a week times 52 weeks in a year is about over $19,000 in a year. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but if you divvy it up by month to month, you divide that by 12, that's almost $1,600 or $1,600 a month. Almost. It's over $1.5 grand per month. What are you gonna do with $1.5 grand? Well, rent in a lot of places is $1,000, but rent in a lot of other places where it's cheaper to live is only about $700 or $800. If you get a roommate, you can cut that in half. If you get a place that's $1,000, you cut it in half, it's $500. If you have a problem getting an apartment, then like they don't want to sign you because your income's not high enough. As long as you have 3 or 4 months of income, they should be able to get you in a place. But if they can't, like if they have a rule, like you have to have 3 times your income or whatever. Your income has to be 3 times the rent per month. If they have that rule, you can get somebody to co-sign. If they don't co-sign, then you'll have to look somewhere else. But the point is, you'll have more than enough money with $1,500 a month, because if you get a roommate, you just find somebody online to room with, or even if you pay $700 yourself or $800 yourself, that's still only half of your monthly, half of your monthly income, your rent. And then what do you need? Maybe 400 tops for groceries, and that's pushing it, $100 per week for one person, for you. So like it brings you up to, let's say, $1,200. And then gas, let's say another $200. Okay, $1,400. Now, at that point, you probably have to cut back your grocery bill. You'll probably have to cut back your gas bill, not driving anywhere that you want. But if you want to get a job tomorrow and live on your own, that's what you have to do. And you don't even have to live on your own. You have family members that you could stay with, that you could offer to pay rent, that you could make breakfast every morning for them, whatever. If you're in a situation where you need to get a job tomorrow, the way to do that is, or the way that I did it was, I drove down a street, I looked at all the places that I could apply. I don't like applying places online. I haven't had much success with that. I think in person is always better. And a lot of small businesses hire, and you can make enough for yourself just to be somewhat stable and on your own. If you're like a young person who's just like, oh man, I need to get my shit together and get a job tomorrow. Some things that helped me with interviewing skills. This is when I first got my job with what I actually got my degree in. I studied a body language book called Winning Body Language by Mark Bowden. And okay, what do you think of me right now? Like if you were interviewing me for a position, don't mind the shirt. Imagine I'm wearing like a more respectable shirt, but even so, like, what do you think of me right now versus right now, hi, I'm interviewing for your job. That's basically what that book is about. It's about having better body language. I practiced that when I was interviewing for jobs, and I got a job pretty quickly after, a handful of interviews. And one of the main reasons that my boss said I got the job was because of my confidence. Even though I was young, I was straight out of college, he said it was because of my confidence. And that confidence came from not only just reading the book, but practicing in other interviews, taking a public speaking class. I've talked about this channel before, introducing myself to loads and loads of people, approaching women on my college campus, anything that I could do to get more comfortable in new social situations. This video feels like it was all over the place. It was haphazard. I just sat down and I just made a video. So I'm gonna try to make a really good thumbnail and then just try to whatever. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you. Peace.